Are we ready to go? Well, I think this is a beautiful picture. Honestly, I just need a little bit of coffee. I cannot keep my eyes open today. Anyway, hello my beautiful people. I always do this, don't I? And welcome back to my channel. My name is Elizaveta S. I do have a little bit of coffee because I cannot wake up today at all. It's just, I don't know why, it's impossible for me. I'm also like a little rock and roll today. I have a leather jacket, but it's so freaking hot in LA. I cannot wear it right now because I'm going to a rock show to see my friends. Today is a very special video because today marks a month since my surgery, and that is what we are going to be talking about today. Last month I have done my liposculpting. Lipo or lipo? I think it's a lipo. Liposculpting, and I did lipofilling a little bit. So yeah, today I will describe to you and answer all the most common questions that were asked to me about the surgery, about the post-surgery effect, how I've done it, where I've done it, why I've done it, what was the recovery, how I'm feeling right now, am I even happy that I've done it or not? So let's go without further ado. So in a few words, what did happen? Last month, on the 5th of September, I went to Russia. I actually went to Russia a few days before that to do my surgery. Why I decided to do my surgery? For me personally, any kind of plastic surgery is a big transformation. Well, it is actually for everyone. The only question is whether you are aware of it or not. When we go through a surgery, it marks a big physical change, a big change on the physical level. Throughout the years, I have noticed that for me, when I go through a specific mental change or energetic change, when I am going to the next level, or there are some differences or transformations happening in my life, in my personal life, in my career life, love life, etc., my own life, right? When it happens on the more subtle plane, like mental or like energetic, I get this strong urge to physically go through that change as well. Meaning I get an urge to get a plastic surgery. Like, I remember at the beginning of this year, I knew this was the year I am going to be doing a plastic surgery. I just have this kind of feeling, this itch that I've already came in contact with, or I've already become familiar with. So it's this knowing that, okay, Lisa, we have to change the physical plane of yours, right? We have to change something on a physical level. And in my life, I've done 3 different surgeries. I've done mammoplasty when I was 18. I've done rhino a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and I have done lipo right now. I've also done my veneers. So they're white and beautiful, but that's not really a plastic surgery if you ask per se. So it doesn't have a full anesthesia. So mid-spring, I started looking for a doctor, and I knew I wanted to do liposculpting. I don't even know why I was like, I need liposculpting. I knew that it's not a surgery to lose weight, but we're going to get into that a little bit later. It is a surgery to help you shape up your body, and surprisingly 90% of people or girls who go under liposuction, who do liposuction, are skinny girls. They don't do that to lose weight, they do it to shape up. So I started looking for the doctor, and I ended up choosing to go to Russia to do it instead of doing it in the United States, because I had to go to Russia anyway for work, for my career. I have a couple of projects going on there, and my family is there, so I knew somebody will take care of my post-surgical, recovery period, at least for the first few days, because it's a full body surgery. And I remember when I've done my breast many years ago, it was hard, it was painful. I did not know what to expect. And at this point, I was not married anymore, so I didn't have a partner. That's a different story. But I didn't feel comfortable doing that at home here, if you please. Plus, there is a little difference the way lipo is done in different countries. Like, for example, if you take Brazilian surgeons, they have their own vision of beauty. So Brazilian surgeons do this, tight belly, but then they do a big ass and thighs. So that very, very curvy hourglass figure is their point of reference. For America, it's very similar. Like, they don't do the body that I want. Like, I wanted to get sucked fully. I wanted to get that kind of not toxic, but really, really tight, everything in my belly area and my legs. These were like my priorities, and my arms, etc. So I knew that in Moscow the standards for beauty are a little different, and I knew that the doctor over there would be more familiar with what I wanted or what I had in mind that I wanted to do for the surgery, right? So I chose a doctor. I just chose a doctor online, to be honest. I had a few consultations with him. I have a pretty good intuition. So I chose a doctor just based on what I felt like, obviously on some work. My doctor's specification is lipo. And all plastic surgeons, they usually do different surgeries. Like the same doctor would do rhino and then facelifts and lipo and mammoplasty, etc., etc., etc. But they all have, or they should have, something that they're better at, something where they just see how to do this specific surgery. So my doctor, the one that I chose, my surgeon, his specification was lipo for women. And apparently, which I didn't know, the hardest lipo you can do is lipo for men, because their fat cells are different and it's harder to suck them out. And he's one of the few who does men's lipo very well. So I chose the doctor. I had a few calls with him. I liked his vibe. He's very precise, not too old, like in a mid 30s, I think, close to 40 age. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So we booked the date and I flew to Moscow. And in a few days, I had my surgery. Okay, so that is my pre-story as to why I decided to do the surgery. Like, I was not fat. Never was, but once in my life I was fat. I was not fat at this point of my life. I did have some parts in my body where it's hard to lose weight. What lipo does, oh yes, coffee. What lipo does as a surgery is it sucks out between your muscle and your skin. You have a layer of fat, and it goes in and it sucks out all the fat layer from that place so that it's not gonna bother you anymore in your life. I do have some bad stories coming up, so keep watching, because I had no idea it can actually turn that bad. So I came in, we marked my body. This is what I wanted to do. I had a few parts in my body that I was like, let's take it out. If I'm going after the anesthesia, let's take it all out. So we've done my arms, we've done a little bit of the back, because from the arm, you come in, and I can try to show you. I have a little point. Oh, there is. You see the little dot? So this is where the needle goes in. It takes the fat from the arm and a little bit from this part of the body, whatever it's called. Then I had my thighs, inside thighs, in the back. I had my knees, and I had 360 around my belly. So like, yeah, the back, above my ass, and my waist, and my belly. So we got marked. I saw my doctor. We had the consultation right before that, the day before the day of the surgery. And then in 2 days, I came in for the surgery. I had to do all the analysis, like the blood test, etc., etc. And I came in the morning without any food to get into the surgery. In Russia, you stay 24 hours in the medical facility where you're being treated and taken care of. The doctors are basically overseeing you. So my surgery, even though I've done a few of them, I remember the way they did it for me is I changed into a robe, and then I walk into the surgical room, which in my experience was better than the one in US, simply because when I walked in US for my rhino, I saw all the medical tools, and that was so scary because I lay down on the couch and I started seeing all these, blades and knives and stuff like that, waiting for my anesthesia, and my mind was like, oh no, this shit is gonna get into me. So I was scared. In Russia, when I went for lipo, I walked into the room and everything was covered. So I didn't see any tools that were about to be used on me, even though I was honestly looking for it. I was like, where are those blades? And I didn't see any. What they did, they started painting me like a fans. you know, those like big brushes that you paint with. So they were doing that on me because my entire body was going to be used in the surgery. So they were using the antiseptic to kill all the bacteria, but it was so freaking cold, and the woman was not very careful. You know, she was like painting the fans. And I'm like, what's gonna happen? And then I lay down, and then it was hard to get the anesthesia. The worst part for me about the surgery was the anesthesia, because not only the medical nurse could not find my veins, and yes, I do have problem with veins, not a problem, but they're just hard to find. Like, you got to be really pro to find them. More often than not, professional, you know, like good surgeons and doctors and nurses, they find my veins pretty easy. But this one was like poking me 10 times until she tried to find the vein, which was so scary and uncomfortable. I was just trying to breathe and be like, it's okay, I am going to be okay, because it's not the best feeling you can have, somebody not knowing what they're doing right before you go, you know, under anesthesia. And then same thing when I was waking up. The hardest part for me was the day after the surgery, not even the day after, the day off, because I was waking up from bad anesthesia. Usually when you wake up from anesthesia, it's supposed to be pretty easy and chill. I don't remember my previous 2 times. My first time I don't remember, but the second time I remember how simple it was. When I done my rhino, I literally woke up and I got into the car and I was fine the whole day. Like, I was sleeping, but I was not shaking. This time I woke up and I could not stop shaking. Like, my body was literally jumping on the couch up and down, and I could not, I could not get a hold of that. It was very painful, it was very scary, it was not a very pleasant feeling. Plus my whole body was like hurting. I had a special thing in my uterus for, if I want to use a restroom, it was inside of me. What else? So yeah, the first day I barely remember. I just remember asking to, help me and to warm me and to give me something to numb down this very uncomfortable feeling, but I was also trying to sleep. And next day I slept through the night for a few hours. Next morning I woke up and I was already more present mentally, and I started walking. I started walking a little bit. That's what you have to do. I remember when I've done my breast, it was not the same because I could not move at all. When you do lipo, for me, I started moving the same day. Like, I was able to walk. I was able to carefully, I wasn't able to fully move my body, but to walk around and use the restroom, I was take that thing away from me, out of me. I will use the restroom by myself. So I was walking, I started, moving. The most pain that I had was around my belly, because that's where they got the most, they sucked everything in. Like right now, if you touch my belly right here, anywhere, it's like metal. I don't know. It's so hard. I'm a professional athlete, even though I am very athletic, so I do have abs, but I've never had anything like this when you just touch and it's skin and bones and you're like, wow, okay, hello. So that day my mom picked me up and we went home. And since then, I actually vlogged. I'm gonna insert it right here. I vlogged the first 5 days describing what I'm going through, like what pills am I taking, pain level. On the day 5, I started walking already a little bit, which was nice. From day 3, I had to do, because I was leaving in 10 days, my speed, guys. I don't sit around. I have to constantly move. So after 10 days post-surgery, or even 8 days, I went to China. They're like, you're crazy. I'm like, okay, whatever. But my doctor said it was okay because my recovery was very fast. So on day 3 after surgery, you have to start doing lymphatic massages because you have so much extra water in your body. You need to get rid of all of that so that your skin and your muscles can tighten together. And I still do massages and I still do LPG right now because I'm not fully recovered. For lipo, the recovery can take up to 9 months. In the first 2 months, you have 60% of the fat that's gonna go away. Then after the next 3 months, after that, you have another 20% and then another 20% during the first 9 months. So we will see what is gonna go. If you like this video, I can do a recap a little later. So I was doing massages and I was doing pressotherapy, which are these I can insert the video right here what it looks like, what I was doing. But I remember that the first week I was super swollen. Like you have to wear special compression underwear, which is you have separate arms. I had separate arms, so like sleeves, and then the full body. So like from the bottom of my mid cuffs all the way to under boob. And this is something that you're supposed to shrink down into, but when you try to put it on the first few days yourself, you can't put it on yourself because you're so swollen. Like my hands looked like baby hands. They looked like a baby doll hands because they were super swollen. Same with my feet because everything else was or had to be tightened up. And that's why you need these massages, and that's why you need the pressotherapy to move the lymph around your body, not to hold on to it, if you know what I mean. It needs to be gone. It needs to be gone. Also, what can happen, because I didn't have lymphatic drainage, whatever they're called, sometimes when you do a surgery, they insert you right at the bottom of your belly, two things where all the lymph goes to. But I didn't want that. I also wasn't offered that. I was like, thank God. So sometimes you have this liquid, this lymph that stays in your body that needs to be punctioned out. Like with a syringe, they have to suck it out. And this is like a very top layer of skin, like right underneath the skin. So I had that done to me a few times because I had a lot of water, like from the back and then from the front a few times. And you can feel it. You can feel it because it's very uncomfortable and very painful. And I remember when I went to China on the first day, because it was my flight on the 7th day or 8th day post-surgery, even though I was feeling okay, I arrived and I had that again in me. So I had to find a local hospital in China, and explain it in Chinese what I needed to be done. And they actually took like 4 or 5 syringes from me with water, and I was like, oh my God. But since then, I didn't have any. Now let's get into the recovery process. For me, recovery is still happening right now. I am at my month of post-surgery, and as I mentioned, first 2 months is when you can see like the final results. You can get back into business, but I'm already trying to get into business. I started doing yoga. I started working out. I am not running yet because my knees hurt. I try to wear the compression underwear definitely when I'm sleeping I wear that, but sometimes I can wear it during the day if I am working from home. Right now it's really hard because in LA it is super hot outside, and this compression stuff is just like, it's a lot. But yeah, I wear it at home, and you can feel when you don't wear it for too much, like you can feel how your skin gets tired and your muscles and the scales just become like puffy and they don't sit well together. So I still do an LPG once a week. I do lymphatic massage once a week to help the muscles tighten and to help that space where all the fat was taken away from me to get together, to heal together. Am I happy with the results? Yes, I am absolutely happy with the results. Speaking to so many people who have done it and believe it, so many celebrities that anybody that who has like a good, perfect shape, from all the models like the Kardashians or the Hadids or Jennifer Lopez, or all the celebrities have done lipo here and there, because you can see where a person doesn't have that fat layer, like it looks different. But there are some complications. For example, my friend who has done it but didn't do her arms, what ended up happening is that when she was gaining weight, because you don't have that fat layer in other parts where it was taken out, the fat goes to another part. So what I am starting to do right now is to be very conscious with what I eat, with my workout routine, with how much water I drink. I actually need to drink some water, by the way. Anyway, so that's that. You can see all these celebrities, or who else? Megan Fox, right? She did the lipo, where you see this, anywhere you see this like super tight body, it is the result of lipo. There was this very famous model who did in the 80s, she's done these, I forget her name, but she's done these video cassettes, right? Video courses about working out at home, she was in the perfect shape. She's done lipo many, many times, because to achieve that perfect body, it's the surgery to go to. And as I've mentioned before, what was a surprise to me is that most girls who go to lipo are skinny girls. You can't go there to lose fat, because it's gonna get back unless you change your routine. But you can go there to modify and shape up your body, which is basically what I did. I also did a little bit of lipofilling into my breast to give it a nice round shape, which I didn't have because I had my implants done very early. So now it's fucking perfect. Okay, I'm loving it. What can I say to finish it up, guys? If you have any questions, let me know down below what you think. I am still in the recovery process, so I am still looking for the final result. I want to see how my body will be transforming, but as I mentioned, my mind is also transforming. When you invest in yourself, I will always say it's your choice. I am never against any plastic surgery when it's done correctly, when it's done consciously, when it's done with awareness. And for me personally, it's always a big transformation, because my self-worth physically and literally, goes up, because you've just invested extra amount of money into yourself, and you went through pain and you went through suffering. So it's always a big thing for me. So I'm seeing and I'm noticing how much my life is changing after that. What is happening, how my mindset is transforming, what is my self-worth and self-value goes to, where does it go? And also, except for the fact that I cannot breathe because of this, I don't know why, the coffee or whatever is happening, I'm like, my eyes are like shutting down. I think it's the heat. Let me just wrap up the video from here, if you don't mind, right? I'm like holding myself up. I love what I had. There can be a lot of complications. My scars are so tiny, you cannot see it. Barely anybody notice them. In terms of the care, the only things I am doing, as I mentioned, are massage, LPG diet, and the compression underwear. Other than that, let me know down below if you want to do this plastic surgery, if you've already done that, or if you still have any questions left. I will be happy to answer that. And on this note, ciao and bye-bye.